Congratulations, an amazing achievement. How do you feel now that you're into your first A-League coaching job?
Yeah, look, I'm massively honoured and very, very grateful to the club for backing me and giving me this opportunity. I mean, it's all come so quickly. The last couple of days have been a real blur. You can probably hear in my voice I'm a bit exhausted already, but of course, really excited. Something I've worked hard for a long, long time, and have believed I'm ready for a long, long time. So, yeah, in at the deep end and ready to get stuck in.
When and how did you find out? And what have the last couple of days entailed for you?
Yeah, look, it was just a phone call and a quick discussion, and then I was sitting by the phone waiting, and then that call came through, and it was basically, right, we're on, let's go, we train tomorrow. So I think we found out 4 p.m. on Monday, and training first thing Tuesday morning. So yeah, it's been as I said, a whirlwind and a real blur.
What was your reception like when you first stepped out with the boys on Tuesday for training?
Look, the players have been through a lot over, not just this season. The ones that have been here for a longer period have they've had a lot of disruption, and they're a resilient group, but they're obviously sceptical. They're obviously on the back of a heavy defeat. So it was probably quite a nervous group in regards to where we go from here and what the future looks like. But hopefully, with the first couple of sessions, they can see clearly the direction we want to go in. And they've been outstanding, professional, really delivered high levels on the training pitch, and hopefully we can build on that and take that forward.
What was your message to the boys? How do you move forward?
Yeah, look, I only work in one way. I don't know any other way, and that's to train the way I like to train and try to implement the playing style that I like to play. Well aware that takes time, and 3 sessions in a week is a small amount of time, but we've set the direction very clearly. The expectations of how we want to play and what we want to do are there, and what we need from the players now is that strength, that resilience, and that belief to turn around what happened last week and in the last few weeks and come back and deliver something special this weekend.
Talk about your coaching style. What is your coaching style?
In terms of my management, look, I drive high standards and I expect high standards, but I also expect that everybody in the environment enjoys what we do. We all got into football and we all started playing football because we like, we played in the street, the playground, the park, whatever it might be. And I think as you go further down that journey, it's easy to lose that. So we'll try and bring back the enjoyment, but of course, alongside that, the expectations are that everybody works and we can outwork anybody that we play against.
You've been with the club since end of October-ish with the Academy GM role. How much have you had to do with the first team in that time?
Nothing yet. Yesterday was my first involvement.
And I suppose, how quickly can you try and get this team to move on from what was a historic loss last Thursday?
Yeah, look, ironically or not, it's not really been spoken about. It's not that I wasn't here. It's not, it's not something I want to dwell on. And looking at how the players have reacted this week, they've been good. The focus is on looking forward and making sure we're focusing on where we want to go to. How quickly that happens is yet to be seen. But look, building something takes time. But also the boys have been great. They've bought in. They've made outstanding progress this week already, and we're very confident we can get a good result against Sydney FC.
And you're returning back to Queensland. You've got a pretty big history here in the state with Olympic. You've got quite a big connection with quite a few people at the club. Does it help being in such a familiar environment with so many people you're used to working with?
Yes and no. I mean, I think I'm very, very set on how I like to work and what I want to do. And I think regardless of where that is, the process will be the same. But it's definitely reassuring to be around people that I have some familiarity with.
And you did spend last season with Melbourne Knights. What did you learn down there?
Look, NPL Victoria is a tough league. The level's very good. In my opinion, it was a big jump from the Queensland NPL. Melbourne Knights is a really interesting football club with a huge history, but have suffered a lot in the last decade or so. I guess for myself personally, it was nice to see. I went into this is a challenge. That was also a huge challenge to try and turn around a club that hadn't made finals for a long time, and we did that. And one of the goals at the beginning of that year was to fill Summer Street, Knights Stadium. And obviously the semi-final against Brisbane Roar, we got 5,500 in there, and that was huge.
And playing against the Roar not that long ago as the opposition manager, do you feel like you've maybe got a little bit of an added perspective on what this squad can do over the coming months now?
Look, I've watched the A-League, most games this year. So I don't. That game was a long time ago. The squad looked different at that point. They were very early in their pre-season and their process. It was a really good game, but yeah, I've obviously done my homework on the team and watched a lot of the league this season already.
Ben, obviously those in football in Queensland know what you're all about. But for fans that may not be familiar with you or know where you come from, what sort of style can those fans expect from a Ben Cahn coach Roar team?
Yeah, I mean, the problem now is it's almost a default answer when you put coaches on the spot. How do you want to play? Attractive playing style, possession-based build-up. I think I've got a good record of delivering that. I'm very, very passionate about delivering a playing style that dominates the game through possession, will work exceptionally hard out of possession. How quickly we can get there is yet to be seen, but we expect to play good football and entertaining football, and we really want to dominate the game. But above that, it's not an aesthetic thing. It's because I believe that's the best way to control a game and win games of football, and we're here to win games of football.
And your first game, obviously here at this place on Saturday night against Sydney.
Yeah.
Obviously a big occasion against a opponent that Brisbane just don't like. Does that add to the stakes as far as your first game and the expected bounce back?
Look, it's a tough game. Sydney are in really good form. I was very, very, very impressed with them against Wellington. So they'll be confident, and they're doing some really good things there. Obviously with Uffy taking over. But we're working on our own processes, and we'll go and impose ourselves on the game as best we can. The meaning of the game, it's the first game's always going to be the first game, and whoever we play, we have to bounce back from what happened last week.
Ben, just given the club's history with the high turnover of coaches, how daunting is it that you're coming in and you're the one everyone's relying on to turn this club around after such a heavy defeat?
Yeah, look, it's certainly not the conditions that you want to come into as a head coach in your first A-League job, but being a young coach from outside of the A-League, my chance was never going to come in easy conditions. So it's a challenge that I'm willing to embrace. Everywhere I've been, I've embraced challenges, and this one's no different. And you can't really look at the bigger picture, and you can't really look at what's happened in the past. We can only look at what we can do, and that's number one, preparing for Sydney FC this weekend, and number two, building the roadmap for where we want to go in the future.
And has anyone at the club had discussions with you about kind of what a pass mark would be for the rest of the season, what they're expecting from you?
Look, I think at this stage, top six is what we're aiming for. I firmly believe we can go on and deliver further than that. This squad is resilient, they're hungry, we've got players coming back from injury, there's potential to do some business in the window. I'm not here just to focus on next season, we're here to try and get as much as we can out of that this year, and that's playing finals football and then seeing where we can go from there. That would be where we would like to be at the end of the year.
You said this would be a challenge. Would you call it the biggest challenge of your career so far?
The scale of it, yeah, because the A-League is the A-League, and it's the highest level of football, in this country. But everywhere I've been, there are different micro challenges that you have to face that make the job overall more difficult. When you come into a professional football club, you're given far more resources, and the full-time players obviously got a great staff behind us, and a club that's willing to back the direction and journey that we're all going on. So there are parts of it that are easier than working in the NPL, but in terms of the expectation and the current situation that we face with recent results and the disruption to the squad, it's a fairly big challenge. It's up there.
How did you celebrate once you found out that you thought you did the job?
By packing up the house and driving down to Brisbane and planning the session for the next morning. No time for celebration, unfortunately.
Quite a lot has been made of the fact that you're quite a high achiever for such a young coach. How does that help with your work ethic and drive to prove a point that, despite the fact you're one of the younger coaches, you're more than capable of taking on a challenge?
Yeah, I think you have to remember that for the normal pathway for a coach is to come out of professional football in your sort of early to mid 30s, go down the coaching licenses pathway, go through as an assistant coach, whatever it might be. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm about 15 years into this journey, so age really is irrelevant to me, and I'm I've delivered an unbelievable amount of training sessions in my lifetime. I've overseen an unbelievable amount of games, and the age might be something externally looked at, but for me it's not a factor, and I've been ready for this for a long time.
I know you say age doesn't matter, but do you actually find that might be an advantage for you, that the players can relate a little bit more to you compared to older coaches?
I think potentially when working with younger players, especially in that academy space that I was leading into this. But I think senior players are senior players, and they're professional, and they respect football knowledge and direction and clear vision and communication. Whether that comes from a young coach or an older coach, I think is not so relevant.
You also have had a history of developing young players. Obviously, Jess Lofthouse, you know very well. Are you excited about the young players that are coming through to work with the likes of Thomas Waddingham, Quinn McNichol and Ryan Brownlee?
Yeah, there are some fantastic young players here. There are more than the ones you've just mentioned, and I enjoy working with young players and pushing them to be the best they can be, and it's really on them for how hard they want to go and to see where they can end up.
Ben, you're a Queenslander. You've been here for a number of years, coached senior and junior football. How special is it to be coaching Brisbane Roar on the national stage in the A-League?
Look, it's surreal. It's extremely special. There were times where I've been in the stands at Suncorp watching Angie's teams and dreamt of being able to lead Brisbane Roar and take them in another special direction. And yeah, that phone call came and that opportunity's here, and now I'm going to do everything I can to take it.